Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne. This is Inside Exec. Now, I've thrown this topic onto the table without any notification at all. She has to think on her feet, so we'll see just how long that lasts. I'm sure it'll go for half an hour, twice as long as normally when she prepares. She sends me the preparation notes so that I know what I have, where at which point I have to start bringing the conversation back together onto the topic. And none of you will write and say that it's always me that goes off topic, because that's not true some of the time. So today I want to talk about deadlines. And what I have been exposed to in the last week or so is an interesting concept in talking about deadlines and talking about them in a different way. So rather than, we would think of a deadline as this is the date I have to have something finished by. Often that's because something else is going to happen at that finished date. So it might be that something new starts, and starts is the operative word, or something gets implemented. But we think about it in terms of the deadline is I have to be finished by that point of time. If we change the terminology around, and if we say that, and we just talk about the start date, or this is going to happen on this date, then we have a different sense of urgency about that project or that activity. A perfect example at the moment is when we're talking about a sale. And I know this resonates with the other person at the table, because sales are something, if it's not cooking, it's sales. If we talk about Amazon, so Amazon doesn't talk about a sale ending on this date. They say the sale starts on this date. Doesn't matter when it ends, it starts on this date. That's where you have to be there. If we look at Boxing Day sales or Black Friday or whatever else it is that in your country that is a sale that people get drawn to, it's when it starts. So people line up beforehand, camp out overnight so they can be there when it starts. Not, I know it starts on that date, but I know it'll probably go for a week, so I'll go towards the end of the time. It's the sense of urgency that a start date or a start deadline engenders that I'm most interested in terms of changing our thinking about, perhaps you've got a project that is stagnating in terms of its momentum and its drive, and so break it up, look at something within the project that is a milestone, for example, and say, okay, well, we're starting this on this date, and without having to say it, everyone knows that means that this lead up stuff has got to be finished before then, but they don't have to think about, we've got to finish that. It's we're starting that, so the urgency is we've got to be ready to start that, so let's push ourselves to get started on that at that point.
So if we're talking, for example, about introducing a new technology system, if we then say we're going to start using the actual first aspect of this technology on Monday the X, so we all know there's a whole lot of work got to be done before that. Then stage 2, we'll migrate to stage 2 and we start paying stage 2 by such and such. And then we will be using it in full by, instead of saying that. You believe that will change the mindset into a sense of urgency and achievable, instead of saying, I have to do all of that by. Yes, you do still, but you're doing it with a different mindset.
And it gives you some excitement. Soft openings are no different. So I looked recently, I saw a series on Oxford Street in London, and they talked about closing one railway station and opening another one next door. And so they had the soft opening. And yes, things went wrong. But it didn't matter, because it wasn't the official opening. It was, and the Minister for Transport was there while all these things were going wrong, and he was talking to the press, and they were in the background trying to fix things. But it wasn't the official opening, so it didn't have to be perfect. It wasn't the big show. It was, this is our start date for using this building, because they were moving buildings. So this is the start date for this building. So let's make sure everything we can is focused on starting on that date, not closing the old one, because that will happen of its own accord, because you need to do all of that before this one can start.
The soft opening and the trial run is really, really powerful, because you're actually testing what you think, even though you go through testing throughout something. What it does, it highlights something that you go and address. It's making it real and live. To me, and I know you're going to make a funny comment about me now, It's start trying a new recipe, making it up. You're not someone else who's tried it. You decide a new recipe. Well, you know what? You're going to try it, and then some of it, and then you'll taste it, and you think, oh no, I really don't want that ingredient in, or you know what, I think you could do with that. You do all of that yourself, and then when you have that recipe ready for when Kim comes over, that's different again.
Yes, let me just tell you as an aside that it's always exciting because she doesn't tell you beforehand that it's a new recipe. She just presents it and then she'll say,
Guinea
how is
pigs.
it? How is it? I haven't actually tried to do it before. I saw it somewhere or I ate it somewhere and I just worked it out
Make
from
it
there.
up. Yeah.
I'm still here, so it must be fine.
I really like people who will try. Again, particularly technology type of introductions. There's so many things that you can't preempt. Of course, you do all the thing, but then the person using that aspect of it will try it and find things that none of us expected, good or bad, and then we'll address them.
Yeah. I just think that what resonated with me when I heard about this idea was it's the change in focus. From, it's the emotions that are involved in whatever you're doing. Is that you introduce some excitement and some urgency without having to browbeat people about this has to be finished by this date. We all know things have to be finished by a certain date.
Yeah.
What we look forward to is the new thing, the starting of the new beginning, because that's why we're doing all this work, so we can start this other thing. So let's focus, refocus on a start deadline rather than a finish deadline for some things. Not for everything, but for some things. Okay, that's just a quick little reflection on deadlines. For now, I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne. This is Inside Exec.